All right, welcome to The Explainer. Ever stop and wonder how so much of our modern world just works? From those robotic arms you see on an assembly line to massive machinery all operating in perfect sync? Well, turns out there's this kind of hidden controller making it all possible. In this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain and find out exactly what this thing is and how it works. So, what is this invisible force that's coordinating so much of our world? The answer is way more common than you'd think, and it has a very specific name. And the answer is the PLC, which stands for Programmable Logic Controller. It's a special kind of industrial strength computer. And trust me, once you get what its three core jobs are, you're going to start seeing its handiwork everywhere. Okay, so let's take a look at the textbook definition here. A PLC is an industrial digital computer designed to automate manufacturing processes. But the real magic, the part we're going to zero in on, is that last bit. It continuously monitors inputs, makes decisions based on a program, and controls outputs. That right there is the secret recipe we're about to unpack. So, if we boil all that down, these are the core jobs. It's really just a simple feedback loop, if you think about it. It needs to sense the world, think about what to do, and then act. So let's kick things off with that first piece, sensing. All right, first up, monitoring inputs. And really, the best way to think about this is like the PLC's senses. It's how it perceives the world around it. You see that word? Continuously? That's everything. This isn't just a one-and-done check. We're talking about a constant stream of data, thousands of times a second. It's constantly asking questions, right? Is the conveyor belt actually moving? Is that bottle full yet? Hey, is that safety gate shut? It's always watching. And what are these inputs really? At the end of the day, they're just super simple signals, kind of like a yes or a no. Is a button being pressed? Is a sensor triggered? And all this raw data? Well, that's exactly what the PLC needs to figure out what to do next. Okay, so the PLC has all this information coming in. Now what? Well, it's got to do something with it. This right here is where we get to the brain of the operation. And this is maybe the most crucial thing to understand about the thinking part. It all happens based on a user-defined program. See, a PLC doesn't get creative. It doesn't improvise. It follows a super strict set of if-then rules that an engineer wrote. It is a pure, unadulterated logic machine. And this flow is the absolute core of how it works. So let's take our bottle example. The PLC gets an input signal, right? The sensor says, hey, bottle is in position. Step 2, it checks its program. The program says, if bottle is in position, then you need to activate the filler. So step 3, the decision is made. And that leads us straight to the action. And that brings us perfectly to our final step, where that decision becomes a real thing in the world. We're talking about controlling the outputs. This is where the PLC actually does something. This right here, this is the payoff. All that sensing, all that thinking, it was all leading up to this moment, doing something in the real world to get a process automated. So what exactly is an output? It's a command. Simple as that. It's the signal that says, hey motor, turn on, or robotic arm, get moving, or light, switch on. Going back to our bottling plant, the output is that final command that literally opens the valve and fills the bottle. It makes stuff happen. Okay, so let's pull all these pieces together. Because here's the thing. These 3 steps, input, process, output, they don't just happen one time. Nope, they're happening over and over and over again in this ridiculously fast loop. So here's the whole shebang, laid out nice and simple. The senses, that's the input, it detects what's going on. The brain, that's the program, it decides what to do next. And the actions, the output, that's what makes the machine actually move or act. And this whole cycle, it's not happening in slow motion. We're talking hundreds, maybe thousands of times a second. It's literally the heartbeat of modern automation. So now let's circle all the way back to the beginning. When you look at this definition now, it's not just a bunch of words anymore, is it? You can actually see the pieces. Continuously monitors inputs. Yep, those are the senses. Makes decisions based on a user-defined program. That's the brain. and controls outputs, well, those are the actions. Suddenly, it all clicks into place. You know, this simple little loop, sense, think, act, it's quietly running an incredible number of systems all around you, from the traffic lights on your commute to the rides at a theme park. So, now that you can spot the pattern, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What else in your life, big or small, do you think is being controlled by this exact same logic? The answer might surprise you.